Yo, what's up, people out there? This your guy, Clayton Arzino. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, P. Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you may call him. I think at one point he called himself Swag. I could be wrong. But he is actually only found guilty on two of the five charges, right? The most important charges, right? He has been found not guilty on, right? But I believe he could possibly face jail time for the two charges he has been found guilty. But let's go ahead and watch this quick video and see exactly what took place.
You to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20
Ads.
I'm going to interrupt you just closely here, Misty, because we are getting the verdict coming in right now. This is coming in real time, and we have count one here. This is the racketeering charge. We have the count here of not guilty on racketeering. This is coming in real time. We have count two also coming.
Racketeering was the main charge. Had he been found on that charge alone, shit, he easily would have been put away for a long ass time. Like, just that charge alone would have got him done. But let me continue.
Coming in here, not guilty. That is the sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. Count three, we have guilty. Count three is guilty for the transportation of Cassie Ventura. That is guilty. Count four, this is the sex trafficking of Jane. That's a pseudonym. Not guilty. Count five, we have guilty. That is 5 counts. We have a mixed verdict here. Again, count one, as it relates to racketeering, not guilty. Count two, as it relates to sex trafficking, not guilty. Count three, guilty. Count four, not guilty. Count five, guilty. Now, we should bring up here, Misty, all of these counts have a range of different sentences, a range of different evidentiary burdens, a range of different outcomes we could have had here. But it
Just go ahead and make it bigger real quick so we all can see exactly what's going on here. Right? So, first two counts, right? Not guilty, right? So on racketeering, conspiracy, and the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Wow, that's a motherfucking word. So, like I said, on the racketeering alone, that was the big. That was the one where you literally had the U.S. versus Diddy. That's the whole thing. Anything else would have more than likely been state or county. But that, like racketeering, that's a federal type of charge. Not guilty. Now, I'm not saying Diddy is innocent. I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but I think from everything that's been coming out over the past couple months, I think we can safely say, bro, he was just freaky, man. Like it happens. I don't know. I don't know. He's just a freak, bro. He's just like doing little stuff, and that's him. You know, shout out to him. Free Diddy, and this is one thing that I don't like, that it actually could be connected to a lot of things with the black culture, right? A lot of times the courts and the system are set up in which women do not get prosecuted. They, instead of proving that she didn't do anything, it was more so did he have to prove that he didn't do all of this stuff, right? That was the whole case energy, right? And it was the same thing with Tory, even though whatever. But a lot of times, a lot of black women in our community, they do kind of feel like they can't be touched. You know, they feel like, oh, you make me mad, you make me upset, I can just leave and I can put you on child support. And there's really not much the dude can do. I mean, outside of, not signing the birth certificate. But, I mean, most dudes, you know, want to sign the birth certificate for their child, but that's why we should, implement DNA testing, when children are born, just to make sure, hey, everything is cool. But not to get too far off the path, right? Diddy was caught up on some bad stuff. I think we all know, not for sure, but I think it's been said enough to where he made the wrong people upset. And that also is like a mindset money thing, right? When in business, keep everything business. Don't upset the wrong people. Deal with them accordingly. It's certain ways he could have went about it that could have not resulted in this. But whatever happened, he made the wrong people upset. And seemingly out of nowhere, now we have all these people testifying. You have all this information, all these freak offs, and all this. And it's shit. It's really kind of sad in a sense because I'm not saying Diddy was innocent, right? I'm not saying he never did anything, but he didn't deserve to go through all of this court stuff, based on him with the baby oil, right? Cassie, all that, everybody in there, the little stuff they were doing, it was seemed as it made it seem as if he was a complete monster, and that's not even the case. Is he perfect? No, right? But he shouldn't be in this, in this situation, facing racketeering charges, facing prostitution charges. Like that, it just go to show you when you're in a certain level and you have certain, freedoms and things like that, you can't exploit them, right? Do what you do, keep business business, don't piss off the wrong people, and also put more stock into creating your own from the ground up so you don't have to partner with certain people that down the line when business goes sour now, not only am I not just in a business anymore, now I'm, because things went sour, now all of a sudden I have all this extra stuff in my life that's not really needed, and it's pretty much putting things out there, whether true or untrue, and it's really tainting someone's character. He probably would come out with a lawsuit. He probably will sue somebody. I don't know exactly who, but I can see him coming out with a lawsuit. Let me finish playing a little bit more of this video.
It is a mixed verdict, if you will.
It's a mixed verdict, but it is a stunning victory for the defense. The Mann Act, these charges, these were the easiest for prosecutors to prove, the lowest hanging fruit, merely required showing that state lines were crossed for the purpose to engage in prostitution. We saw a lot of evidence on these charges, did not have that element.
Okay, and there it goes. He didn't even get caught up on the main reason, but for whatever, not for whatever reason, I know the reason, but they had to get him on something, right? They had to try and get him, like the lady just said, the lowest hanging fruit. Literally, all you had to do was cross state lines, and that could be considered prostitution. You know what I'm saying? Or taking someone to prostitute or whatever. That's lowest hanging fruit. So easy to convict someone on that. Didn't take much effort. They could have came back within a day and just convicted them on that. But the reason why this trial was going on so long was he was made out to be something that he never was, you know. And that just goes to show once again, and I'm gonna just keep relaying this part. Don't upset the wrong people. Cause some people got a little bit more pull, they have a little bit more power. Diddy has power. I'm not saying he doesn't, because he definitely can make some shit move. But he's it's someone that does have a bit more influence and power than he does. Just saying. Or some entity. All right. Hey.
Element, Laura, of force, fraud, or coercion. And this carries the lightest sentence of these charges. It is a maximum of 10 years. And keep in mind, when you're talking about maximums, maximums aren't the rule. They are the exception. They're for the most exceptional and severe cases. So now you're talking about a sentence that's potentially in the lower range with time served because he's been behind bars. The fact that these sex trafficking charges, specifically with respect to Cassie Ventura, means that the jury was convinced by the defense, at least with respect to reasonable doubt, that the commercial sex, i.e. the freak-offs, were not connected to some of this violence, that there was not that force, fraud, or coercion element. That is by far, from a penalty perspective, the most serious. It carried a...
Well, there you go. That's the whole gist of everything. The freak offs in no way, in no shape or form, was connected to any criminal sex trafficking, prostitution. That's it. That's all you got. That's all you needed. Everything that they embarrassed this man over the last couple years now is kind of like all for nothing. Now this man's name has been tainted for the past couple years. Like I said, he's gonna come up with a mean lawsuit. We're just gonna watch a little bit more of this. And final thoughts.
15-year minimum. So that is a huge distinction. This is the best case scenario, in my view, for the defense. A lot of us opined yesterday that when the jury asked for a readback of Cassie Ventura and Daniel Phillips, one of the escorts' testimony, that read perhaps negatively for the defense. The jury was digging in to see if there was that force, fraud, or coercion. Clearly, it went the other way.
And, it's interesting because the prosecutors had told him, you don't have to find force, fraud, or, coercion on every single instance that he did this, right? You only have to find one. It doesn't have to be that this happened every time. But for the racketeering, you really did need to find a pattern of behavior. You needed to find a criminal enterprise that he engaged in with other people, right? When people...
He had it. He was just a freaky ass dude, bro. It's okay. He liked to eat a little ass. Who don't like to eat ass? Never mind. But yeah, final thoughts. Final thoughts, man. Dude was just a freak, bro. He just liked being freaky. I mean, it is what it is. He shouldn't have been sentenced to no time in jail, and he probably won't actually receive no time. At most, they might give him a year, but he's probably gonna get time served. So he probably ain't gonna face like no jail time. Probably just probation or something. But all in all, don't upset the wrong people. Watch these little funky hoes. Because Cassie tried to tear him down. Cassie was a part of the team that tried to make it seem like he was running a criminal enterprise. He was doing all this stuff. He had a whole nationwide of criminal situations going on. You know what I'm saying? That's not even remotely the case, right? I don't know if Diddy can, but he probably he still got money, so yeah, he probably could sue the fuck out of Cassie, like sue the shit out of her. Whatever money she remotely could make, she ain't gonna make. That's what I would do. And I'm gonna just say this: there should be penalties for women who lie on the stand, or at least try to twist things in a certain narrative and in a certain way to make it seem like it's more so a dude that's leading and that's the main culprit behind certain things. Because as they said, they didn't really want to read that testimony back. They didn't want to go back and do that. Because everybody and their mama know Cassie was in it just as much as Diddy. In fact, she could be looked at as the main one. You know what I'm saying? Leading this whole freak off situation. Or if you wanted to hit Diddy with the racketeering charges, you was going to have to hit her with it too. So since they couldn't do that, they probably was like, hey, we can't really get him because it's nothing there. It was nothing there to say that. It was more Cassie that I don't know, man. It's just people get upset, piss off the wrong people, and now all of a sudden you got a situation. So, free Diddy, man. I'm gonna get out of here. And yeah, this is my quick thoughts. If you guys believe that he was fully innocent, leave a comment. If you think Cassie was on some fuck shit, some Kelsey Harris shit, leave a comment as well. If you don't believe that she was lying, that Diddy is a monster and he got off scot free, right? Leave a comment right below the video. All right. Thank you guys so much. And I will be back with more.